Hello, and thank you for watching this regional forecast for the Canadian Prairie. I'm Andrew Pritchard, Senior Meteorologist with Nutrien Ag Solutions. Well, temperatures across the prairie, not that hot yet, but we are going to be in full-on heat mode across much of the prairie as we head through the next 3 days or so, with many areas seeing temperatures near or above 30 degrees beneath a huge ridge of high pressure, which I bet you can probably pick it out here if you've been watching these videos and kind of following along as I try and draw the jet stream pattern in our cloud patterns here in the morning. But big trough in the Gulf of Alaska, we get the jet stream kind of taking a big dive, and then you see the big inverted U shape. This is our ridge of high pressure just spinning away across the prairie, allowing a lot of heat to build in from the western U.S., nosing into the Canadian Prairie. So a very hot pattern across the Canadian Prairie, and that is here to stay over the next several days. The radar is pretty quiet. We've got some noise right now between Calgary and Edmonton right now. Not a lot in the way of rainfall falling there beneath our ridge of high pressure. With our public weather alerts, lots of heat warnings in effect across a big chunk of Alberta into central and northern portions of Saskatchewan, and even across southern Saskatchewan. We'll be seeing that heat with temperatures in the in the near 30 or to low 30s there as we head through the next couple of days. That is some terrible sentence formation there, but we'll keep rolling with this Monday morning. Look at the high temperatures today. Anywhere from 30 to 35 degrees right here across portions of southern and central Saskatchewan into Alberta. This is going to be the case here as we head through the next few days. We'll look at the highs today, those highs tomorrow, and then the highs on Thursday afternoon still in the low to mid 30s across the region. So that is the theme here as we head through the next few days. And again, I just drew the jet stream picture there on the satellite, but we'll redo it here on the 500 millibar height anomaly pattern. Again, all the heat building in here across the central and western portions of the Canadian Prairie, and a cool air being shoved off to the east and to the far west across the Gulf of Alaska. We're feeling some of this cooler air down here in the Midwest of the United States, finally getting a break from the heat down here. As we play this through the next 7 days or so, we'll go ahead and take the drawings off so you can see what's going on back there. We'll take it back to today. Again, we'll see this ridge hanging out for much of the week. We're going to see a couple little systems riding up and over the top of this ridge, which will help kind of flatten it out a bit as we head into the later part of the week. That's going to allow temperatures to kind of moderate down to probably more seasonably appropriate levels. I doubt that we're going to be dropping cooler than average anytime soon over the next 7 to 10 days at least, but at least resetting things down a couple levels back to more appropriate levels for this time of year. But there's some uncertainty as we head beyond that, with the European model wanting to kind of rebuild the ridge as we head into next week, which could mean a resumption of some heat, but very low confidence as we get out into the 7 to 10 day time frame with those specifics. Let's look at the 500 millibar height anomaly pattern. And again, here's our ridge. Very quiet across the prairie there. Not much going on. We look at this vorticity map looking for these little vort maxes. These are areas of positive vorticity, and where those track, that's where we look for unsettled weather, development of cloud cover, and precipitation. As we take this through the next several days, again, we're going to see rather quiet conditions. A couple of these weak little systems or weak little disturbances kind of riding over the top of the ridge, and these could kick off at times widely isolated showers or storms across the southern prairie. And I'm talking most people get missed here, but don't be surprised if you get a light shower or storm kind of thing over the next couple of days. As I play this a little bit longer, though, you'll see a much more organized wave make its way through British Columbia and then into the prairie here as we get into the middle part of the week. There's a weak one Wednesday, but then as we get into Thursday, here's another one kind of shooting in from west to east, and then maybe getting another more well-defined one coming in here as we get into, this is the weekend. So really quiet as we head through the next few days, just looking for widely isolated, and I mean widely isolated showers and storms across parts of southern Alberta as we head through the next couple of days. We'll take a look at that here with the precipitation forecast. How about we do that with more organized chances as we get into the late part of the week. So the high-resolution AM model, starting off today, again, just looking for, as we head through the afternoon and evening, pretty dry conditions, maybe an isolated shower or storm across this region of central and southern Alberta. Generally the same thing as we head into tomorrow afternoon and evening. Again, just looking for the potential for maybe an isolated shower or storm riding over the top of that ridge. Likely going to be mostly clear, hot and dry, though, with any organized rain activity well north of the prairie, north of Highway 16 as we head through Tuesday and Wednesday. As we get into Thursday, we'll see our next system emerge here, maybe better chances for some showers and storms across the prairie, but generally looking at a dry and a hot week here across the prairie. So here we go, the European model, keeping things dry across this region, across much of the prairie, with any shower and storm activity riding up and over the top of the ridge as we head through the next few days. We're into Wednesday now. Getting into Thursday, keeping it pretty dry. Now we're getting into the end of the week here. Friday, here's that little wave I showed you coming up and over the top of the ridge. Here's where we can kind of try and flatten the ridge at the very least as we get into the weekend. And then we see another wave trying to come in here, generally going north of the Prairie, though, too, as we get into Sunday. So I'm really splitting hairs here with a couple of systems that try and ride over the top of the ridge. But when I look at the primary ag belt here, it is looking pretty uncertain as far as, I shouldn't say uncertain, I should say unlikely that we're going to see much in the way of organized shower and storm activity as we head through the next 5 to 7 days with that ridge of high pressure across the region. So just raw output from the high-resolution NAM model. Again, it tries to break out a couple of widely isolated showers and storms across southern portions of the Prairie, but I've got big uncertainties, very low confidence in that. I think much of the organized rainfall, and even that is going to be light in nature, is going to be through this corridor, well north of the Prairie, north of Highway 16, through northern portions of Alberta, Saskatchewan, and central portions of Manitoba. Meanwhile, down here across the Prairie, dealing with that ridge of high pressure, probably looking at a hot and dry week. The probability of picking up even 1/10 of an inch of precipitation here, so 2.5 millimeters of precipitation, and you see 0% probability here, or near zero, across southern Alberta, southern Saskatchewan, south of Highway 16. As you get into central and southern portions of Manitoba and then north of Highway 16, you can kind of ratchet it up to maybe 30 to 50% probabilities, and that's where, again, we could see some of those little clusters of showers or storms riding up and over the top of the ridge through this region. So Calgary to Edmonton, over to Saskatoon to Regina, down to Winnipeg, maybe a 30 to 50% chance of picking up a light shower or storm as we head through the next 5 days. That is just about it. As we look at total, the probability of picking up half an inch of precipitation, even lower as we head through the next 5 days. We'll finish with a look at your high temperatures then. 33 in Calgary for the next 2 days, down to the upper 20s as we finish the work week. Edmonton, 30 degrees Monday and Tuesday, mid-20s for the rest of the work week. Regina, 33, 33, 34, and then 30 for the high on Thursday, dropping down to 28 and 29 as we head into the weekend. Again, low confidence whether we're headed back up or back down as we get into the early part of next week, so kind of ignore that. Saskatoon, you're hot all the way through the middle part of the week as well. And then Winnipeg, you're a bit cooler now. It takes a little bit for that ridge to build in. We'll see the hottest day of the week on Wednesday with a high of 32, dropping down to the upper 20s as we head into the weekend.